going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Out here in the garage today. It's, I don't know, day 6 of lockdown or whatever you want to call it. Not necessarily that I want to be out here today, but we're going to do a little work today. As you can see, I've already been doing stuff. When you get bored, look, you know, painted the back of the garage, got all that taken care of. Give a little better backdrop for what we got going on here. Sunshine's done. She's ready. Got the rear end up in it. Everything's done. We haven't moved it since the last video. I mean, it's like everybody else in the nation. We're itching to go racing. We're itching to see what this thing's going to do. But like everybody else, kind of stuck at home and, you know, left in limbo right now. Been looking at some videos, kind of just watching things, and with all the stuff we've got going on in the back here, I mean, it's a ladder bar car, it's a ladder bar setup, so it's not necessarily something that needs anti-roll per se, but this has a little bit of body roll on it. So, I mean, being bored and wanting something to do, and fairly inexpensive thing, and it's not going to hurt the car to put it on there. It's going to give us a little more rigidity, and I think it'll stop the roll of it. So we went out to Summit yesterday, and they're still allowing people in there to go get things, which is kind of weird to me. But hey, it's great for us. Went out there, picked up an anti-roll bar. So we're going to get that unpackaged up. I'm going to crawl underneath here, start lining it up. We're going to try to get this thing put on today. Again, and then it's just going to sit here until we can go racing. But at least it's on there. That'll give us some more rigidity. It'll kind of give a peace of mind, a little bit of insurance. Probably give us a little more consistent 60s if I can get that roll out of it. I mean, from the way that it launched last time, you can see that it twists and it pulls. I mean, that ladder bar really had nowhere to go but to bend over. And I think a lot of that was due just to kind of a poor design on the open brackets and stuff like that. But with that being said, we're gonna get this thing opened up, check it out, and start getting this thing put on the car. All right, guys, got everything unboxed here. Everything looks pretty good. It's not like it's super, you know, heavy duty. Not a real big fan of the separate brackets right here that you got to weld together and put all together. Not a big fan of those style bushings as far as rather not being a brass bushing or a bearing. But I mean, for what I need to do, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like I said, I'm not using this as a crutch or something to really have to rely on. It's the 1-inch pipe. It's at the 1.5 inch, but it is super thick. It's chrome moly. It's like a Schedule 80 pipe, so I'm not worried about the strength of that. It's just going to be a whole lot of putting pieces together and a little more welding than I really want to do, but you know, like I said, I've got time, so I'm not too concerned about it. So I guess all that's left now is just gotta jump underneath here, start fitting up, kind of see where I want to go. I'm gonna kind of bolt some of this stuff together and kind of hang it on the bar, kind of put it up there, just kind of see where it goes and where everything's gonna reach. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, all that's left to do now is just to get underneath there and do it. Start measuring this thing out, kind of put it where I want it to go, get everything lined out, and just get underneath there and do it. All right, guys, underneath the car now. Not a whole lot of room in my application to be able to put this thing in here. I can't really get it in front. I'm gonna have to go basically directly behind these shocks. I'm gonna have to get these mounts, which are kind of, I don't know, not real happy with them, but you know, it is what it is. Basically gonna have to get it right here on this side, and I'm gonna try to line it up right here with this ladder bar setup, right there where it's really strong, all the welds are, kind of just to kind of, I wouldn't say triangulate it in, but kind of somewhat like that. But I think if I get it up here like this, I get it running right behind these shocks right here, parallel with this bar, with the shock strut tower. If I can get that right there on that little crossbar, that should give me enough to come out here. They're not gonna be long. They're probably only gonna be about that long as far as the actual Heim joint bars and the actual control bars to be able to move up and down, but it's not like I need a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of movement in this back end anyway. So I'm gonna try to get these, clean this off right here, get these, mark this across where I want it, cut the bar and get that tacked up in there and just start going from there and kind of piecing it together. It's kind of going to be I wouldn't say a fly-by-night project, but it's kind of going to be fly by the seat of your pants as far as how I'm going to get this thing in here. But when it's all done, it should work. Hopefully it works. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it will work. For the most part, guys, it's just kind of going to be trial and error fit. I mean, I'm just going to tack everything first to make sure I can get it all up in here and make sure it's actually going to work and at least make some bit of difference. If not, then hey, we'll take another approach. But I think I can get this going, guys. So I'm going to start getting in here, grinding all this and get after it. All right, guys, I got this thing up here, just kind of somewhat using the calibrated eyeball right now. I've got a cross member right here that I know that is square. I can line this up, looking up there to make sure that it's straight. I know my ends here are flush. This is kind of a pain in the butt doing by yourself, but what I can do is I can mark this line, at least give me a reference to where both are gonna be. You can see right here, this is where I'm saying that fuel pump is a little tight. I think at Tack, I can get all these cut down and moved out of the way, but I think that's gonna be where my apex is. I know I gotta be up against the screw bolt there. Look in here, yeah, we're straight. I'm gonna run with it. What do you got to lose? All you do is you cut it back out. All right, we got our measurements lined out. I know that from this point here to right here is 29.5. So that's where I've got my brackets mounted to. That's where the mounts are gonna be. So I know now that all I gotta do is I need to mark this here, just kind of outline it. If I had a marker that actually worked, awesome. Let's try one of the other 30 that I've got. Okay, so I know to mark that there, and I can cut this off a little shorter if I want to. What I'll do is I'll get that cut off. Then I know I can put the plates on each end. They won't come out. These brackets stay right where they go when I weld them in place. And as far as everything else, I can still take them apart. I can still get everything out. And I'll be able to slide the actual arms on there that way without having to put everything up in there and try to hold everything in place where everything's falling around. I can just cut these, get that tacked up in there, and then I can work in place where everything else has got to go. So I'm gonna get to cutting on this, guys. Hopefully this stuff cuts pretty easy. It's Molly. Not always, it's thick. Here we go. Alright guys, we're under the car. I've got the bar up here, I've got these just kind of loosely hanging. I still got the calibrated eyeball looking across here on this straight line. Everything still looks to be good. I'm kind of in the places where I need to be. And of course I'm welding upside down, right next to my gas vent, which is awesome, which I do have it unplugged from the tank, so this is awesome. This is awesome. This is where another set of hands or a set of clamps would come in handy. But actually I don't even think a set of clamps would work right now. Like I said, we're winging this. Just like you would do, right? I'm glad you agree. So, let's see what we got. Really? Maybe that'll work. It's getting heavy. It's getting heavy. Seriously? Okay. I think we're gonna have take two. All right, guys, we're gonna try this one more time. Had to grind me out a little bit of a bare spot here to had a little bit of crud in the way, give you a bad contact. So we're gonna see if this does any better. I just need one little poke. There we go. And actually, kind of sounded like it tacked. Wow. That's first, guys. You guys want to double check that I'm still calibrated eyeball? We look good so far. Now this is the part that I'm not too keen about over here next to this fuel pump. Of course there shouldn't be anything on it, or out of it I should say. So let's try to get up in here and see. You're gonna see it all on video if it does. Uh-oh, got attacked. Uh-oh. And the bar still turns. That's a plus. Think I can do a pull-up on it? Nah, I ain't gonna try it. All right, guys. That was a very uneventful tack weld session, but I got these tacked in where I want them. I've got that bar going across there straight, in theory. I trust my eyeball. So now what I'm gonna do is I've got these arms here that I've got sliding back and forth right now. What I wanna do is I just kinda wanna take these out here. Everything's hanging level, so I pretty much just wanna take these. I wanna get them right in line, lift them up there with that bracket. I don't want to tack, I just kind of let it swing down like that and leave that one hanging there. Come over here, basically do the same thing, just kind of get it lined up to where that's going to be lined up with that bracket. Let that hang like that. What I can do is I can get a marker up here now, and I can mark right here around there, and come over here on this side and mark right here. Then what I can do is I can take it out, I can set it on a flat surface laying on the ground with these arms laying down and the brackets, and then I can tack everything there, put it in here, make sure everything swings, everything comes back to where it's supposed to be. Then I'll start messing with the lengths of the actual bars that go up and down. If I can get that, I can actually take this part right here out of it. I might be able to get it out without having to take that whole thing out, but I don't know. But that's right now, that's where I am. I'm gonna get these out. Bad thing is they didn't leave me the freaking tabs for the heim joints at the bottom. Everything in the package except for those. I mean, that just seems like the story of my life. Every time I order something or buy something, it never comes complete, and it was a sealed package. That's what's really kind of pisses me off about it. But I mean, it is what it is. I can always run over to Smiley's and grab a set of those tomorrow. But we can get that far, at least get it to where everything's swinging in place. I know where I want it to be, and then just kind of go from there. All right, guys, I got the bar in. I've got these welded on. As you can see, everything swings good. Everything's still mobile, still moving. I've just got these tacked in, lined up to where when they go up, they're perfectly in line with that. Now, when you want to set these, you want them to be as level as possible. Up like this, they're only going to move about an inch or so if they do. So I just want to make sure I give them enough swing up there. But I really need to position this where this is. I need to get the rear end jacked up in its ride position and then put these hind bars on. Because you can see right now, they're just, well, that's not even on there. But they are way too long. These things probably aren't going to be, but maybe, dang, probably that long. There's not a whole lot of adjustment in them at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this rear end jacked up, basically just enough to where it starts to lift off the jack stands. So pretty much it sets it at right height is what I want it. And then I just set everything neutral in, but I can get everything there, get these cut to where they need to be. Then I'll have to go tomorrow and pick up a couple of tabs, but I can get these cut. I can get the heim joints tacked and everything. That way all I've got to do is bolt the end tabs onto it, push it up against the rear end, level those where I want them, tack them, and then everything's ready to go. I can weld these here, get those cut up, and try to just finish up what I can right now. All right, guys, if you can see up here right now, you can see I don't have the bar on here yet. And if I put that pretty much level, that's dang near as long as it can be. I can put a little bit of this in here, maybe bring it down to here, but there's not a whole lot of room as far as getting the tabs on there and getting that, which, I mean, it doesn't really matter how much you got. You just want to make sure you got enough. And you want to have this pretty much level. So it's probably, I don't know, roughly about 3 inches of bar, and that's about it. Basically what I'm gonna do is just kind of measure from that close point to that close point there, cut this piece, put these two together, and we're ready to rock and roll. Well, guys, we got our piece here. It's all taped off and marked. It's gonna be a 2-inch piece. A little trick here, when you're cutting with just a die grinder or something like that, you don't have a little chop saw, make your little marks, put your piece of tape around it. Just gives you a little easier straight line to cut when you're cutting these down, so when you fit them together, it's not, you don't have this big jagged edge sticking up. It makes it a little more square, just a little easier to put it together. Here we go, got everything cut, got everything back in. You see I just got them kind of hanging here loosely. As you can see, I got everything cut and set in. That bar is gonna hang probably about right there like that, just at the bottom of that bracket. They're a little more up than level, but I'm fine with that. It's not too bad. They're the same on both sides. I don't know if you can get over here and see that side or not. There it is, you can see it there. It's right, that's where that one goes. They'll be right pretty much in the exact same spot. So I'm happy with it turned out. The only thing that I'm not real kosher with, the arms are fine. These all have little inserts to put in to brace those up, and I'll probably gusset this here, even though they've got the little inserts that go in. I'll gusset that. The heims are good. Second thing is be sure when you put these in that you have your left and your right heim on. It sucks to weld these all together and then you've got two of the same threads and they won't actually open up or move. That would suck. So I made sure I didn't do that. I have done that before. Those go like that. This is the only thing I don't like. This little bracket here, I mean, if that holds 200 horsepower, I would be surprised. This is supposed to be up to almost 1,000 horsepower, which we're above that. I get that. And like I said, I'm kind of just using this as an insurance or precautionary type deal. So I'm going to have to gusset this somehow or beef this up a little more. Probably cut me another bracket on this side. And once it's in here, put it up here because it's going to be in there. It's not going anywhere as far as being serviceable or anything like that. I'm not too concerned about that. I'll just cut it out if I have to. But the only thing I'm lacking right now, guys, like I said, is just those bottom mount brackets. So once I get those, I can put this up and this thing will be done. I can take it over there, get it all welded. But I don't want to do any kind of final welding on anything yet, not until I get those bottom tabs in. And once that's in, we'll be ready to go. I'm going to run up to Smiley's over here, our local roundy round shop, but they tend to have everything I need. Get back, put these things on here, and this thing will be buttoned up pretty much. Like I said, then I can just take it over there, do all the final welding, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over here to Smiley's real quick, pick up these tabs, come back, get these tacked on, get everything else where I need it, make sure everything's fitting fine, everything works fine, everything articulates like it's supposed to. Then I'll take this off and run over to Mike's and get it all welded up. But I'm going to run and get those tabs real quick, and we'll pick up when I get those. All right, guys, we're back from Smiley's. Got my tabs here for the mounts for the actual heim joints. As you can see, got them in here right here. The only problem with them is they're a little thick to where this here doesn't have a whole lot of turn or articulation. So what I'm going to do is just kind of grind the tops of these a little bit, just so when it comes up, it can move side to side, freely move and not have any problems of binding up or anything like that. So I'm going to get to grinding on this real quick, get underneath there and start mounting them up. All right, guys, got that one all done. As you can see, now when it's in a straight up and down position, I've got plenty of, plenty of roll, plenty of articulation for it to move around all the way around. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna get that other one done, get underneath there and start putting them up. Well, you're underneath the car, got the little brackets on. Now what I've got to do is basically I've got this up in position here. I'm gonna try to get this on, and that's gonna be the tricky part, is getting this to hold as straight as I can right here and be able to get a small tack weld on while it's lined up. And if I can get that in there like that, get a little tack on it, and then weld down both sides, we will be set. Then I can take it all apart and do all the little extra welding things. But biggest thing is right now they're both lined up perfectly. All the brackets line up even on that side over there when this is up in this position. So I think the hardest thing is just going to be with this jack here in the way. It's kind of a pain in the butt because I've got to be able to see both sides and work around it, but we're gonna give it a shot. All right, guys, there we go. We got everything tacked in place. Everything's lined up. I mean, the bar's still kind of sliding right now, so it's not exactly where it's gonna be, but got all the tabs tacked up. Everything's tacked up here. Everything's in position where I want it to be. Now all I'm gonna do is just pull everything out, get everything up here, put it on the bench, get everything welded up. I was gonna run it out to Mike's and do it, but this little welder here is enough to do what this has got to do. If I don't feel right about it, I can always take it over there later. But with right now everybody being on lockdown and all that crap, I can do it here. So I'm gonna pull all this out, get it all welded up, get it all back in there, painted up. We'll be done with this thing. So just gonna hop under there, loosen everything up, let's get after it. All right, guys, we are back in business. Sunshine is back down to the ground. We got the anti-roll bar all installed. Everything's buttoned up, everything's painted, tightened up. Got everything set in neutral right now. I can't set it as far as with me in the car yet without somebody being here, so I can get underneath there, or they can get underneath there and put it back to neutral. But everything's set neutral right now. Let's get down here and take a look at it. All right, guys, there you go. That's all there is to it. And got all the brackets in up here. Still kind of iffy on those little brackets right there. I mean, they're welded in, they're good and everything, but it's just kind of a, I don't know, kind of a poor design if you ask me. It doesn't leave a whole lot of bite. I still may gusset it up right here up to there just to give me a little added insurance. I mean, this thing probably doesn't need the anti-roll bar, but I mean, it's in there now. I got all the time in the world because you can't go anywhere and do anything, and I'm running out of things to do, guys. We're ready to go out and rock and roll. I mean, as soon as the tracks open up, as soon as we get everything, whatever this crap lifted and all that, we're able to go out and actually, interact with the public, we will be the first ones out. We are ready to rock. The way it took off last time, the power that it's making now, everything's working right. We've done everything in the rear ends to cinch it up and get everything taken care of and make it as stable as can be and as sturdy as can be. So we're ready to go, guys. So as soon as they do it, like I said, we'll be the first ones out there. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button because it helps the channel out, and we will catch you guys on the next one.